Hey girls, welcome to our Vocab Unit 10 video. Please either take notes in the vocab section of your writing notebook or go ahead and watch the video and then complete the alternate assignment in the writing section of your vocab notebook. So as you're listening, just pay attention to words that you're unfamiliar with and their definitions or some of the examples that I use that might be helpful for you to keep remembering these words. All right, let's get started. Here's our first word, adept. It's both an adjective and a noun. As an adjective, that's the most common way you'll see it being used, and it means thoroughly skilled. So if you're really good at playing the piano or you're really good at soccer, you are adept at that activity. As a noun, it means an expert, so somebody who is the best possible example of that thing. So Hillary Clinton is adept at politics, and I hopefully am adept as a teacher. Aspire is a verb that means to have ambitious hopes or plans, strive toward a higher goal. So hopefully all of you aspire to achieve some sort of higher educational degree. Maybe you want to go into nursing, maybe you want to become a lawyer, maybe you want to become a surgeon. Those are all amazing things that we could aspire to be. Bleak is an adjective, and it means bare, dreary, or dismal. So you can see this poor man stuck in the rain. He's a little stick figure. He's really depressed, and that is the same meaning as bleak. Chide is a verb, and it means to blame or scold. It's what your mom does when she asks you to clean the room, or what your teacher does when she says, hey, you forgot to bring your homework today. So we all know what chiding is. Despicable is an adjective. It means worthy of scorn or contemptible, which means you could hate it. So Daffy Duck is often really upset. He is thinking about all the people in his life who are despicable towards him. You also are familiar with the movie Despicable Me. All of the people in that movie are despicable, worthy of scorn or hatred in some regard. Diminutive is another adjective meaning small, smaller than other things of the same type. So here we've got an example. I think this is from a recent movie where two characters have been shrunk, so they are now diminutive. If you wear a petite size, you are diminutive. You're smaller than the average person. Emancipate is a verb, and it means to free from slavery, or it could also mean to release or liberate. So you may feel emancipated at the end of the school day, but you'll most famously remember the Emancipation Proclamation from history. That's when Abraham Lincoln set the slaves free. So emancipate means to free somebody from something. Erroneous is an adjective meaning incorrect or containing mistakes. So if somebody got an F on a quiz, that would be an erroneous quiz. It would be full of many mistakes. Exploit is a verb that means to make use of, to develop, to make improper use of for personal profit. As a noun, it means a feat or a deed. So you can see that as a verb, it tends to have a negative connotation because we think of that idea of making improper use of for personal profit. So you'll see these exploited workers down below in the images that I've shared for you. But as a noun, exploit has a really positive connotation. It's a feat, it's a deed, it's something really great that you've accomplished. So one of my biggest exploits would be running a marathon, right? That's something I'm super proud of. So you can see that exploit means both good and bad things. Extemporaneous is an adjective that means made or delivered on the spur of the moment. So this young woman is really nervous because she has to deliver an extemporaneous speech. She has to make up something on the spot. It's much better to feel prepared for a speech than it is to feel nervous and as though you're making it up. So you can see why she'd be nervous. Impair is a verb that means to make imperfect, to damage or harm. And here's a really depressing example for you of a pregnant woman drinking, which could impair the health of her fetus. So you might also think of people who are hearing impaired, they have slightly damaged hearing, or people who are visually impaired, they have slightly damaged vision. But you could also be impaired in any number of ways. Invincible is an adjective that means something cannot be defeated, that it cannot be overcome. It's the best possible thing. So we often think of superheroes as being invincible. Languid is how many of you feel, especially during the first period of the school day. It means drooping, without energy, or sluggish, like when you just don't want to get out of bed. You feel languid in the morning. Mire is a noun, and as a noun it means wet, swampy ground, a tough situation. So think about a swamp would be hard to get out of, so it can also mean a tough situation, a situation that's hard to get out of. As a verb, it means to get stuck. So you could be mired in the swamp or mired in the mud. Or maybe you could even be mired in a fight between two friends, stuck in the middle. Obtrusive is an adjective. It means forward, undesirably prominent, or thrust out. So in this picture, we've got Jim Carrey with his obtrusive eyeballs. They're just kind of sticking out all over the place. It could also be, so somebody could have an obtrusive figure, or they could act in an obtrusive manner. They could stick out in an undesirable way. So again, it has a negative connotation. Preamble is a noun, and you probably recognize this one from your history classes as well. It's an introduction to a speech or piece of writing. The most famous preamble we have here in the United States is the preamble of the Constitution, which starts with "We, the people of this United States, in order to form a more perfect union." So you might recognize that. That's an example of a preamble. The preamble to Romeo and Juliet is our prologue. It's the introduction to that piece of writing. Render is a verb that means to cause to become, to perform, to deliver officially, to process, or to extract. So these are all verbs that have to do with changing one thing into something else. So rendering basically means to cause one thing to become another thing that's slightly different. So sometimes you have to render payment when you get a bill for something. So that's why I have that example of the bill. Or maybe the process of going through school renders you a better student or turns you into the person that you're going to become. Rugged is an adjective meaning rough, irregular, severe, stern, stormy, or strong. So these mountains are certainly rugged in nature. They're really rough looking. You could also have a rugged appearance. In fact, men are often described as handsome when they have a rugged appearance because of their strong features. Skeptical is an adjective, which means being inclined to doubt, slow to accept something as true. So skeptical means the same thing as a word we had last week, incredulous. Both of them mean that people are unwilling to believe something is true. They doubt everything. Being skeptical and being incredulous are the opposite of being gullible. Somebody who's gullible is easily fooled. Slipshod is our last word this week. It's an adjective that means untidy in dress or personal habits, careless or sloppy. So here we have a slipshod man who's a little bit sloppy in his personal habits. It looks like there might even be some flies following him around. Sometimes pres girls can be a little bit slipshod in their appearances as well. All right, girls, that's our vocab unit for this week. I look forward to seeing either your notes or your writing sample in your writing notebooks next class. Thanks so much.